What's good, YouTube, man? Thank y'all for tuning in to I Am Fresh, and we are back at it again with another video. And to my Fresh fan, man, thank y'all so much for always tuning in with your boy. Yeah, boy. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'll be showing you all my 4 easy steps on how to shoot your rifle caliber pistols. Yes, without a brace, without a stock. All right, for those of you all, you know what's going on in the current climate with the pistol brace rule and things of that nature. Folks are in between taking the brace off, keeping the brace on, putting the stock on, as beyond, and so on and so forth. But if you all were interested or potentially entertaining the idea of just removing the brace altogether, I think this video will be helpful for you all to be able to learn and have some easy tips and tricks on how to actually still be effective with your firearm with the brace removed. So without further ado, y'all, let's shoot to the range. Go! Alright, Fresh family, so we are at the range. Now I can show y'all my 4 easy tips on how to fire your rifle caliber pistol without a brace attached to it. You know, it's going to take some repetition, it's going to take some practice, but once you practice and train with these methods, you'll find that it's relatively easy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing loaded up so we can jump into my first method that I like primarily when shooting without a brace or a stock on a rifle caliber pistol. All right, so as you can see, I'm starting at a low ready position. The first method is going to be what I call cheeking. All right, so cheeking is basically when you allow the buffer tube to kind of ride on that jaw line in between like that cheekbone and that jaw area here, and then you don't want to shove it into the jaw, but just kind of rest it on the side so that you're able to kind of just guide your shot. So this is what it looks like. So you want to start from a low ready and bring it up like so. All right, so notice I'm not jamming it into the eye or jamming it into the cheekbone. What I'm doing is just simply resting it on the cheek. So I'm gonna show y'all, we're gonna do some shot demonstrations. This thing is hot. I got it on safe, so I'll show you what that looks like. I'll do it in slow motion so you guys can see, and then we'll move up to a faster speed. All right, safety's off. So as you can see, I just brung it up from a low ready. It's already resting on that collarbone chest area here, so the transition is super smooth. You're punching out with that forearm like so. So as you can see, this hand here is punching out, kind of pulling the firearm forward while I'm resting it on my cheek, giving a good guide as to keeping the firearm stable and on target. So here it is right here in fast motion as well too. Safety off. There you go. You saw that? All right. So that's from a low ready straight to the cheek. And as you can see, shots on target is very accurate and effective. Okay. All right. So that's what I call cheeking. The next one is what you're going to call, I call it the handgun method. It's when you hold it with 2 hands like a handgun, because remember, we're losing a point of contact. Normally with a stock or a brace, you're having 3 points of contact giving you max stabilization, hence the reason for a stabilizing brace, right? Well, when you're using a handgun method, you're definitely losing that 3rd point of contact. From the cheeking method, you can kind of associate that with a 3rd point of contact because you're resting that buffer tube system on the cheek area, on that jawline there. But the handgun method is simply just 2 hands. So you'll be overlapping the hands and riding the thumbs simply just like you do with an actual pistol itself, an actual handgun itself. All right, so same thing, just overlapping those hands here. This one requires a little bit of forearm strength and a little bit of shoulder strength because this is a heavier platform than an actual handgun. All right, so safety's coming off. So as you can see, you can fire it with the handgun method. You can place some accurate shots on target. It does require a little bit amount of strength for sure. If you have any shoulder injuries or just any fatigue in the forearms, you will feel it for sure, and that will cause the front end of that barrel to play around a little bit, especially with shooting a 5.56 or any type of higher caliber rifle pistols. You're definitely going to feel the recoil is different because this is a longer system and a different kind of action than that of a handgun. So that paired with the weight, you're going to get some wobble for sure. I prefer the cheeking method, but it is very possible to shoot this using the handgun method. All right, so as you can see, I just overlapped those hands like so, and I was able to punch out, stabilizing those forearms and place those shots accurately. All right, not my preferred way, but it's still an effective way. Okay, the third method is going to be what I call a push-pull method. Okay, this is also just a 2-point contact way of firing this firearm. You take your angle foregrip or a hand stop, you can place that in between your fingers. So as you can see, I'm webbing my hands, placing that in between my fingers like so. And then what I'm going to do is wrap my hand around the barrel, and then I'm pulling the firearm out with my left arm, and it'll be vice versa if you're left, or depending on if you're left or right-handed. But what you'll do is, with your support hand, you'll pull the firearm forward, locking it forward, and then with whatever hand that you use to actually shoot, you'll pull that back. All right, so that's called the push-pull method, and that's another effective way of shooting. So let me demonstrate that. So I'm pulling out, pulling back on that rear. As you can see, very effective as well too. All shots right there in that center mass. We're not going for extreme accuracy. I got this thing posted up at about the 15-yard mark, which will be effective for things like this. This is more so of a self-defense setup, so we're going to keep the scenario the same. We're not doing no long distance shots with this. All right, this is all immediate threat positioning. Okay, run through that again. You'll pull out like so, locking that forearm forward, and then you'll use your trigger hand to bring that handle back, placing those shots accurately on target. All right, push-pull method. That's the third method. Okay. All right, guys. So one thing I wanted to mention is, as you can see, I switched platforms to the AK pistol only because I'm not running a Sling point on the AR pistol. Right here, this is what you call a Sling tension method. All right, so I'm getting ready to show you all that, but I just want you guys to see that I'm switching platforms only because I'm actually running a Sling on this one, and it's applicable to both platforms if you're running a Sling on a rifle caliber pistol without a stock or a brace. Okay, so let's get this thing loaded up so I can show you all this last and final method. All right, so now that we got this thing hot and ready to go, with this last and final method, which is our fourth method, this one is called, I like to call the Sling tension method. All right, it's when you use a single point sling. Okay, and I recommend doing this with a single point sling, not a 2-point sling, only because you want that tension to be focused on the rear of the firearm itself. So as you can see, I got my sling mounted on the back of this firearm, and this is a single point sling with an actual bungee loop on it, which gives that kind of springy type tension there. That's what we're going to use to actually help stabilize this firearm when placing those rounds. Okay, now the scope is a little bit off, but it's not necessarily about the scope, it's about the method itself. So just pay attention to the method. I thought I had this thing zeroed in, and it seems like it's a little bit off. Maybe I bumped it or something like that, so just bear with me. We coming off safety. I want y'all to peep this method. Okay, so this is the Sling tension method. We're going to punch all the way out till we feel a good amount of tension. We're going to stabilize it on that forearm, whatever your support hand is. Firing around like so. Firing around like so. All right, so that's the Sling tension method. As you can see, pushing straight out, engaging that sling fully so that I feel the tension on my back, locking that support hand, whichever hand you use to support. Mine will be my left, locking that forearm and using my trigger hand to actually stabilize and aim and placing those shots. So as you can see, that's the Sling tension method. Super, very effective. As you can see, all shots are on target. And as you can see, Fresh Family, just with a close up of everything, you can see these larger holes. Of course, it's the 7.62, but I told y'all that scope wasn't dialed in. But just for, conversational purposes, a fist-sized group right there, you're talking about maybe, 3 to 4 inches, and that's with the scope not dialed in with that Sling tension method. And then here's those other 3 methods right there. And as you can see, fist size group and 2 to 3 inch group right here on a 12 by 12 target, man. So as you can see, super effective, very effective. And this is all at 15 yards, man. All right. You can, in fact, still be very effective and adequate at aiming your firearm without a brace or a stock. You just got to really practice these techniques, figure out which one is good for you, which one is most comfortable. For me, I like to use the cheeking method, especially on the AR platform. Now, you cannot do the cheeking method on your AK platforms, only because they do not use a buffer tube system, so there is no way to really cheek it, and I don't feel that comfortable with putting the actual action cycling of the firearm that close to my face. I wouldn't recommend that at all. So that's why I do it on the AR platforms. Make sure that you train, and if you are removing the brace and running it without a brace or running it without a stock in its original pistol configuration, you definitely need to train to just get used to that recoil, figure out which method works the best. It does require a little bit of strength, especially with the sling tension method. You're definitely going to feel that burn in that tricep a little bit, so you want to make sure that you prepare for that, as well as with the push-pull method. You got to make sure you got a strong core to be able to do that, because you're managing recoil, you're keeping the pistol stabilized so that you're putting accurate shots on there, and so you still have to maintain a level of strength to keep everything nice and stable. All right, so make sure y'all get out there and train. Make sure y'all learn these methods right here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If so, do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, man, hit that subscribe button, man, and consider joining the Fresh family, because I'm telling you, we are not going anywhere, man. But until the next time, I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.